play some Good Sudoku. Tonight, we're going to start with a warm-up beginner puzzle, then move on to advanced, and then possibly an expert or a pro puzzle. Whatever we can get done in about 30 minutes. I think we'll get through a beginner and an advanced pretty easy, and then we might only have time for an expert puzzle because they do start to get pretty difficult, at least for me. So let's start with a warm-up here. If you've never played Sudoku before, you should. It's really fun. The object of the game is to fill in the numbers 1 through 9 once, with no repeats, in every row, every column, and every box. So let's get started. I hope you're having a good day, or a good evening, as it is for me. I'm recording this on a Friday, so it's the weekend. Or it's the weekend eve, as it were. And I had a pretty good week. Did some traveling overseas in Central America, actually. That was really fun. And I played a lot of Sudoku on the plane ride. And I was narrating it in my head like I was recording one of these videos, and it was a little distracting for me. So eventually I had to put it down and just read a book. But yeah, I hope you are having a good day. And if you're not, I'm sorry about that. We all have bad days sometimes. I hope a video like this can help you unwind a little, turn off your brain, or turn off the part of your brain that is maybe causing you a little bit of distress. So we're getting pretty close to the end of this warm-up puzzle. I'm not on these beginner puzzles. I don't annotate. You usually don't need to. The answers are usually pretty clear and obvious. But once we get to the advanced puzzle, I will start annotating and describing a little bit more what I'm doing. But if you're having trouble following along, well, you should probably do some Sudoku puzzles, some basic ones, and then I think you'll be able to follow along a little bit easier. But in about a minute here, I'll be done with this puzzle, and then I'll be all warmed up and mentally limber for more difficult Sudoku, and then I'll start describing in a little bit more detail what I'm doing. But in this app, which is by far my favorite Sudoku app, Good Sudoku, the beginner puzzles, which we just finished, hooray, they're always very easy, and you really just have to go through the numbers, fill in numbers where they can go, and then as you do that, it restricts things enough that you can just do it again, and you solve everything. You don't really have to do any logic. The advanced puzzles, I when I'm doing these for fun, I also don't annotate, but they are a little bit more difficult. But I will annotate here. So now that we're on this advanced puzzle, I'm going to go through each number. If there's only one place that number can go in a box, I'll fill it in. So taking a look at this top right box, we have 5, 8, and 7. There's a 1 pointing up, a 1 pointing over this way, and a 1 pointing over this way. So that means there's only one place for a 1 to go. So when you tap on the numbers, the white cells are places where you could put the number. If there's only one, that means that's where it has to go. Now, the style of annotation that I do is if there's only 2 places left where something can go, like 1 can be in these 2 boxes here, I annotate that. That ends up being very helpful for a variety of reasons. Here is one of the reasons right here. So I'm annotating down here that one of these is going to be a 1. This is kind of as good as having a 1 in the box for looking at the other boxes on the board, these point up and mean that there can't be any ones in this column, which means this can't be a 1. So I'll annotate that. Can't be a 1. And because of that, that means these are also the only places for a 1 to go. Now, a slightly more advanced logic move we can do is these ones kind of form a rectangle. I think this is called an X-wing in the Sudoku community. There's either going to be a 1 here and a 1 here, or a 1 here and a 1 here. But either way, what that means is there's going to be, in these two boxes, there's going to be a 1 in this row and a 1 in this row. So that means there can't be a 1 in this row, in this box, or here. And that restriction means we can place a 1 right there, and then place a 1 here and here. So that was very useful. So let's take a look at 2s. There'll be 2s down here, which means these can't be a 2. So that is the 2. I'll plop these in, but again, these usually aren't very necessary, even in advanced puzzles. Let's see. 3 is pretty open right now. We can't place any 3s, even notations, really. There's a 4 here. That's all we know about 4s. 5 goes here. A 5 goes here. And since we had noted that one of these is a 1, and that's a 5, that means that's a 1. This is a 5. And this is a 5. That's all the 5s placed. Hooray. 6 here, right? Yeah. This is the only place for a 6 in this box, which also means that's a 2. 6 goes here, and Yahtzee, we've got all the 6s. It's going pretty fast. 7, 7, 7. Ding, all the 7s. Let's look at 8s. Well, there's gonna be 8s here, which means this can't be an 8. So that's the 8. There's also 8s here, and the same X-wing move means we know where to place an 8 down here. Can't be an 8 here or here. So this is the 8. 8's here and here. And we'll need to get some more information before we can figure those out. So this is a 9-8 pair. So that means 2 things. 1, this can't be a 9. So that's the 9. And also, there's only one thing this can be, right? We already know 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8 and the 9 can only be, these are the only positions they can be in. So there's only one option for this left, and that's the 3. Alright, we were doing 9s, right? Yeah. So this is a 9. And that's a 9. And those will be 9s. So now we've gone through all the numbers. In more advanced puzzles, which we'll get to here shortly, we might now have to start looking at a deeper level of annotations, but for these advanced Good Sudoku puzzles, you generally have everything you need just by doing what we did. So we'll start back at 1, and lo and behold, we're able to place that now, and that's all the 1s, and also we know that that's a 2, and that must be a 4. It's the last one in the square. We know that's a 2, and there are 2s locked in here. This is a 3. That's a 3. This is a 3-9 pair. So yeah, this would have been a 4-8 pair, but we already know that the 4 is here. So this can't be a 4. That has to be an 8, and that's the 4. What else? That's a 4. This is a 4-8 pair as well. That's a 4, and pretty soon. That's an 8. And, that's 9, so... yep. Almost done now. Yeah, that's a 2. That's gotta be a 3. That's gotta be a 3. That's gotta be a 3. 3. And that's the end of this puzzle. Yay! So it took a little bit longer, I think, a little bit longer than the beginner puzzle, but still pretty easy. But now, I usually play this on my phone. I only play on my iPad when I'm recording these videos, really, so it's giving us some little hints. So let's now try an expert puzzle. Now, these can be pretty difficult, and you gotta use a variety of techniques, so I will do my best to explain what's happening. So you can tell already that this is going to be more difficult because there's lots more open spaces. I believe without any other rules, if you're just using normal Sudoku rules, I believe the minimum number of givens of numbers that are already on the board is 16. This looks like quite a bit more than 16, but not a lot more. And you can see like this square is entirely empty down here, so that's a little intimidating. So we'll still start exactly the same way, though we'll go through each of these numbers and we'll place any that we can place immediately. We'll note where we'll leave annotations for where there's only 2 positions, and we'll go through probably at least twice, maybe 3 or 4 times, try to get as much information as we can, and then once we've done all of that, we'll auto note the board, which you'll see when I do it. That will put in different color annotations for all of the possibilities for each one of the boxes. I'll do it right now so you can see. This is a lot. This is too much. Although you can see right away there are some, we call them naked singles. There's a 2 and there's a 9. This is way too much, and I don't like starting out the puzzle this way. It's just way too busy. I like to just go through and do my annotations and figure out the naked singles just by looking at the board and figuring that out on my own. And then once I get to a point where it's I can't do anymore, then I'll auto note the rest of the board. I make a lot more use of annotations, a lot, when I'm playing on expert and harder. You really need them. You really need to have that information on the board. Well, I don't know about you. Maybe you don't, but I do. Especially restricting cells, like figuring out what cells can't be is often just as important or more important sometimes as figuring out what they can be. And we'll see that in practice, I'm sure, pretty soon. But yeah, let's just go through and make our annotations be diligent Sudokuers. See, like 5, it's like, gosh, we don't really know anything about 5s right now. 6s, we can place a 6. 7s, we can place 1 7, and we know that there's 7s here. 8s are up here, and here, which means this cannot be an 8. So one of these 2 is an 8. Let's look at 9. Oof. Tough. Already tough. So let's go through. We might have to rely on those notations, to be totally honest. Here we go. So we were able to get this restricted a bit more, so we know that this is pointing up here, so these can't be a 2. So this is a 2. That's a 2. resolvable on its own, but I remember from when we auto-noted the board that this can only be a 2. This, you can see this by all the other numbers that are pointed at this cell. So there's a 1, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9 are all pointed at this cell. So the only thing it can be is a 2. So we can put that in and resolve that. This, it could be a 2, a 3, an 8, or a 9. We just don't know. We don't have enough information. A 3-8 pair. Very useful. Very, very useful. We'll see why when we auto-note the board shortly. Very shortly, because I don't think I'm going to be able to place very much more, if anything. Oh, spoke too soon. We know that's a 7. Oh, we know one of these two is a 7. And that's it. Okay, so at the moment, I'm a little stuck. So the next step for me is to auto-note the board and start looking at these gray notations. These are all of when I tap on these boxes, these are the numbers they can be, and when you auto-note the whole board, it just leaves these in gray. So it's just like tapping on them and seeing what the numbers are. I already see there's one naked single down here. This has to be a 9. For the same reasons this had to be a 2. This cell has a 1. It has a 1 pointed at it. We know the 2 in this box is here, so it can't be here. So there's the 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 is the only thing it can be. So there's the 9. That resolved quite a lot of things for us. That was really helpful. Okay, so one technique that we have not talked about yet is I think I'm not exactly sure what they're called. I think they might be called locked doubles or just doubles. Down here in this box, these two cells can only be a 1 and a 6. So these are a 1-6 pair because they can't be anything else, right? Even though there could be 1s and 6s in these other boxes, if this was a 1 and this was a 6, there wouldn't be anything left for these to be. So that tells us a lot of things. This is really, really helpful. Because this is a 1-6 pair pointing this way, we can rule out 1 and 6 in anywhere that it's pointed. That can't be a 6. That can't be a 6. So that's very helpful. And we can rule out a 1 and a 6 in this box. Nothing else can be a 1 or a 6 here. So this is going to restrict a bunch of stuff and hopefully help us make some more progress. So that was great to find right away. And in fact, because that ruled these out, we now know that that's a 1. 1s are locked in here, and this is a 1-4 pair. So we can use that exact same logic now, right? These can't be a 5. They're either a 1 or a 4. So we'll remove 5 from that, and that means this is a 5-9 pair. 5, 9. And that means this can't be a 5. This can't be a 5. That can't be a 9. So that's a 3. Woohoo! Okay, now we're kind of cooking with gas. That helped out an awful lot. We also now know that this is a 6-7 pair, and this is a 3-5 pair. So this must be an 8. Okay, what else do we know? Well, going back down to this box has been very helpful. This is another double. It can only be a 5 or a 7, so it's a 5-7 double. So this can't be a 5. And these were already taken care of, but that restricts this cell a little bit. And I'm going to just go through and see if these have helped us out anymore, and they have a little. 3 down there. Maybe they've only helped us out a very little, but once you start getting into these harder puzzles, every single piece of information can be useful. So we know that's an 8, and these are also locked in as an 8. These must be a 9. Okay, so we've kind of, I think we've squeezed all the useful information that we can out of these boxes. So now we need to go through and look for some similar things. Can we find some other locked off cells? And there we have, right up here. This is a 3-8 pair. They can only be a 3 or 8. So we can remove all of the other options from these cells. This can't be a 1, 4, 5, or 9. And then are there 3 and 8 in the rest of this? No. But let's take a look at the numbers we restricted and see if we get new information, and we have. So those must be a 1. These must be a 4. Since they're pointing here, that means this is the 4 and that's the 1. 5, we didn't really get anything there. 9, didn't really get anything there. But we are making good progress. I'm pleased. I am most pleased with this. So, where to look now? Where will be the next breakthrough? Let's just there, the 1. So these must be a 1. Since these are a 1 and those are a 1, that means we already know the 1s in these columns. So this can't be a 1 right here. That has to be the 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's got to be one other kind of clever piece of logic. That's almost always how this works. Is on expert and higher, there's a couple of those little logical jujitsu moves that you have to do, and then once you've done them, it kind of unlocks the whole puzzle. Although this is also going to be very helpful here. These can't be a 9, so these are a 9, because the same logic as we did with them. What was it? The 7s over here. We know that the 9s for this column and this column are either going to be here and here or here in one of these. So neither of these can be a 9. That's the 9. That also means that's an 8. That means that's an 8 and that's a 3. You know, I think that might be it. I think we may have all the information we need to solve the rest of this puzzle. Kind of feels that way. Let's take a look without any more kind of clever logic. But perhaps not. Perhaps there will be one more thing. Well, maybe this is the one more thing. We can use that exact same move one more time to restrict the 5s here. So that's the 5. Yeah, that's got to be it. This is all going to unfold, and we're going to get ding, 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 ding. So these must be a 7-6 pair, so this is the only place for a 9 to go. That means the 9 goes there, and then, yeah, everything else should fall into place fairly quickly. Yep, we did it. Congratulations, especially if you were following along. That was not easy, but it wasn't super hard. There were only a few extra things we had to do. Look at all the accolades we've gotten. So I said we'd only go for, thank you so much for noting our improvement. I said we'd only go for 30 minutes. We're close. Let's see how far we can get in a pro puzzle. Now these sometimes can take me a very long time. And I always find they're deceptive. See, look at this. Like, oh wow, I can place all these 1s. I got all this information about 1s. It's tricking you. It's making you think it's easy. It's not easy. The pro puzzles are significantly harder than the so-called expert puzzles. I love the way that these are it's expert and then pro. I don't really get the difference between an expert and a pro. I would actually think that expert would be higher than pro. And then because they've already used these names, the hardest ones are just called impossible. Yikes. And they can be very tricky, but I have done them. You just have to know a lot of techniques. You have to know some pretty complex logic. All right, I'll pick up the speed a little bit. I really don't want to take a hint though. I feel like we can do this without hints, but sometimes it just takes time. For me, I have to think. Uh-oh, that can't be right. Yeah. Oh boy, that was about to have been a mistake. In fact, those couldn't have been a 5, because the 5 in this box is going to be here, so these can't be a 5. So that's the 5, and that's a 9. And I've seen some puzzles like this before. I would not be at all surprised if we are going to get every single number in the middle 3 squares, and we're going to feel like, wow, we're so far along, and then just be hopeless in the remaining 6. That I feel like they do that a lot. There's a lot of the creators of this app troll you, or whatever, whatever trolling is like in Sudoku puzzle making. Okay, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, I think we are gonna get these. These are an 8-6 pair, so these can't be 6 or 8. What about 9? Yeah, 9. Oh yeah. We even have all the 9s. Like, oh wow, we're doing so good. No. Lies. Okay. This is a 6-8 pair, so even though they could be a 2, they can't. It's a trick. It's a trap. So the 2 goes here. That means there's a 2 here. That's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's a 2. I don't know. I mean, like, this doesn't seem that hard right now, but I promise these get fiendishly difficult. Or maybe I'm just so good. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I must have made a mistake. Ah, nuts. Okay, I made some mistake earlier. I must have. If this is a 6-8 pair, the 4 can't go there. So this, yeah, I don't really care about the points here, but when you recover the board, it will deduct some points from you. Oh wow, we made a big logical error earlier. Let's try not to do that again. Okay, so the 2 must be here. Can't go here. This can't be a 2. Oof. See, this is when this is how this ends up taking 30 minutes just on one puzzle. Especially if you make a mistake, you can go pretty far. Okay, so this is the 4. It can't be here. We know it can't be there. So that's the 4, and that's a 2. Oh no, have we made the same mistake twice? Oh no, what did we do? What are we doing wrong here? Is this not a 6-8 pair? It's not. Ack. We are gonna just perpetually make this mistake. That's not a 6-8 pair. Wow. Gotta be careful with this. Well, we know these are full pips. We know that's a 4. That's a 4. This is a 4. This is a 4. We would have been stuck on that for a long, long time. Okay. I'm glad I noticed that. Although, here, we're gonna get all of this anyway. Okay, so that's the 8, and that's the 3. Whew. Wow. That could have been really bad. pieces of 5. We don't know which one yet. This is a 6-5 pair. That should be helpful. I can't believe we haven't had to auto-note this board yet. Yeah, it almost feels like we're gonna get this without having to do that. But no, there's no way. There's no way. But maybe there's a way. I don't know. Wow, we are like really getting along. That's the 7. Okay, so this must be a 6. These are 6. Those are the 2s. This will resolve the 3s. Wow, I think we're gonna get this without having to even auto-note it. I get real nervous when that happens, because I feel like I must have made a mistake early on. That was just like, I thought I did a piece of logic and placed a number, and it was, the logic was wrong, but the number was right, because usually it's not this easy. So the 5s here mean these can't be a 5. That's the 5. That's a 5. And then this is going to rebound and give us all the rest of the 5s. I love it when the logic does that. I love it when you have a piece of logic, you can't place the number, but you know something about it, and it just kind of bounces around the board like that. That's so cool. I love Sudoku. It's so fun. And yeah. Damn. How did we do that without noting the board? I don't know. But we did it. So, congratulations. We are not going to do an impossible puzzle tonight. Maybe next time we will do an impossible puzzle. I can almost guarantee. Let's take a look at one of them. I don't know. This might not seem intimidating to you, but this is intimidating to me. But we're not going to start on this right now. Maybe next time we will do that. So we did a beginner, advanced, an expert, and a pro. And we even gracefully recovered from some mistakes, and I think that's always a great lesson to learn. So if you take anything away from this, just remember, if you make a mistake, just acknowledge it and fix it and move on with your life. I think that's a good lesson in Sudoku. It's a good lesson for the real life too. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.